What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the interview with Rome again for another episode. On today's episode, I have with me esteemed author and podcaster Kristine Raymond. She published her first book in 2013, and she's gone on to complete two romance series, one being a historical Western and another one contemporary. But we'll get into that and more. Today's segment, I want to bring to the show Kristine Raymond. Kristine, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being on.
Hey, thanks for having me. I really appreciate this. Nice to talk to you.
Yes, definitely. So I want to get right into it. Who is Kristine Raymond?
A question for the century. No. I am a over 50, happily married woman living in rural Kentucky who decided 5 years ago to write a book. And one book turned into two, turned into 15, and no end in sight.
Awesome. Okay. So what made you decide, okay, I'm going to write a book? What was your inspiration for that?
You know, it has never been a lifelong ambition of mine. My husband and I used to kind of joke back and forth that I should write a book just because I'd have these crazy dreams and I tell him about them. Like, oh yeah, you should turn that into a book. And I was like, not really interested in it. And in 2013, a girl I worked with, Romey-Mak, she had self-published her own books. And she started telling me about it and about the process. And I thought, no, this sounds kind of interesting. I want to give it a try. And I really wasn't looking past just that first book, which was Here to Stay. And by the time I wrote it, I was kind of just hooked on the process. And yeah, I just haven't looked back since.
Cool. So what's the first thing you think about when you wake up in the morning?
Most mornings, it's taking a nap. No. No, actually, there is some truth in that. And the funny thing is, I'm not a napper. So, I don't know. Probably my animals, because my dogs at that point are like, okay, Mom, get up and feed us and let us out. And, so I think home stuff, taking care of what I need to before I can dive into the business part of my day. I'd say that's pretty much what occupies my mind.
Okay. So how many pets do you have?
Oh, more than I need. My husband and we rescued for years, so we have dogs and cats. Most of them are elderly now, so they're in their last stages of life. So it's like elder care here for pets.
I see. A friend of mine and her husband, they do the same thing. They have a gang of dogs, and no cats, but definitely a gang of dogs, and they take in a lot of rescue animals. They're really good, kind-spirited people to do so. Are you a hopeless romantic?
No, I mean, I'd like to be, and I guess maybe that's why I write the kind of books that I do, because there is something about, two people falling in love and having that happily ever after that I think everybody wants, or most people want. I won't speak for everyone, but I kind of see the reality in things, and I don't know that it really works that way.
Yeah. So these romance novels that you write, do they derive from any personal experience? And if so, true personal experience, that is. I'm sure they get some form of inspiration, but for the ones that you do write, is there anything that you've actually gone through an experience that your audience would be able to pick up on?
I don't know that the audience would be able to pick up on them. There are parts of me, parts of experiences I've had, and personality quirks and things like that in all of the books I've written. I guess the one that stands out the most is, if anybody's read the Hidden Spring series, Landry, who is, she's introduced in book one, but book two is her story, and she deals with infertility, and that is my story. What she goes through with the miscarriages and the infertility, that happens with me in real life. And that's why I wrote that in there. I mean, I wanted to kind of give one of my characters something that I had faced myself.
I see. It's unfortunate that you had to go through that.
Well, thank you. It was, but I really do believe that there's a reason that things work out the way they do, and it all turned out for the best. So.
Yeah. Okay. So how long have you and your husband been married?
We will be married 26 years this year. Been together 28.
That's awesome. Awesome.
Thank you. We met on a blind date when I was fixed up with his best friend. And knew he was the one.
Yes, she was smitten from the start, huh?
Pretty much, yeah. And we got married 2 years later, and like I said, we'll be married 26 years this June, so I guess he's the one. If not, he's stuck with me.
Yeah.
I'm not going anywhere.
That's how that's going to work, right? So how does your husband feel about your writing?
He is my biggest supporter. I mean, he believes in me when I don't even believe in me. You know, he is just so supportive and cheers me on, and I'll come up to him with an idea, and he'll be like, yeah, you should do that. And like I said, you know, even throughout the years, he was the one who always said, oh, you should write a book. That dream would, you know, make a good storyline. And so he's absolutely wonderful.
That's awesome. It's good to have somebody in your corner that truly does support what you do, not just saying it, but really putting forth that effort. It makes what we do, like as far as being involved in our business, so much easier to feel like and know that you're not alone. Granted, you're the star of the show, but sometimes you do feel like you need someone on kind of I would say motivate you, keep you going.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And even when I started the podcast, he was, you know, I kind of came to him that to me was sort of a crazy idea. And it's like, you know, I'm thinking about starting this podcast to help promote other authors. And he's like, yeah, do it. What do we need to do? You know, I mean, he was just behind me 1,000%. And, you know, I love him for a lot of reasons, but I love him for that too.
Definitely. Great man we speak of. I'm sure when he hears this, he'll know. Got a great woman also talking about the great man. Would you ever turn one of your books into a movie? And if so, which one would you do?
Well, if Hollywood came knocking, then I'd say yeah.
Yeah.
So, any agents out there, sure, give me a call. You know, I think all of them that I've written, any of them would be good for a movie. The Celebration series is more kind of a Hallmarky theme type story. You know, Tempted, of course, is a little more on the risque side, so that would be a little R-rated. You know, if westerns make a comeback, I'd love to see the Hidden Springs series even turn into a TV show, a Netflix series or something. So yeah, it's not. It's definitely something I'd consider if the offer was right.
You mentioned in your downtime that you like to, speaking of Netflix, you watch a lot on Netflix. So what would be your favorite series right now?
Right now we're actually watching Royal Pains, which I know is several years old, but I never saw it, and I'm really enjoying it. It's kind of lighthearted medical show if no one's familiar with it. It's about a concierge doctor in the Hamptons. And so kind of enjoying that. In the past, you know, I like Longmire, Grace and Frank. I really want to watch You. The thing is, I don't have a lot of time to watch TV, so binge watching is something that happens maybe, you know, once a month kind of thing, maybe. Because it'll have to happen on a day where I'm just kind of like, yeah, I don't want to deal with anything today. I'm just going to step away from the business and sort of regroup and not think about anything book related and just kind of veg.
So what's the hardest part of your creative process when you're cultivating your classics, known as your books?
Classics. I'm not sure that word's ever been associated with my book, but thank you. I appreciate that.
No problem.
Like you mentioned to me, you're a trendsetter, so hopefully that word will pick up.
Yeah, definitely. Kristine Classics. You got to have them.
That's right. You know, sometimes it's just finding the right word. I'll know what I want to say, but how to say it doesn't necessarily come easily, especially if I'm really searching to create a scene or even a sentence in a specific way. I get stumped a lot because I am sort of a perfectionist. I'm not one of these people who writes the first draft, doesn't care what it sounds like, just get the words on paper and then go back and clean it up. I actually clean it up as I go along.
I see.
So a lot of times when I'm writing, it just kind of, I'll hit a spot and I really can't move forward until I figure out what I want to say right with what's right in front of me. So that I would say is kind of my biggest difficulty with writing. It's just coming up with the right words sometimes.
With that being said, as far as like me being a guy and you writing romance novels, how would you go about engaging men to read your romance novels, if that's even like on your scope of things to do?
Well, I hope that anybody who's interested in romance would read them, regardless of who they are.
Well said.
I don't really know how to answer that, because I guess I sort of think along the stereotypical lines of, women read romance, but I know that's not true. I know that a lot of men read romance. There are men that write romance, so it really is an equal opportunity genre. But I don't know. As I write from a woman's point of view when I write my stories, so I kind of don't know what a man is looking for in a romance novel.
I see.
So I don't really know.
Well, if anything, you're giving an insight of how a woman looks at romance. This particular woman, being Kristine, looks at romance. Yeah. So, I mean, that's one aspect that can be taken from it for a guy that's really trying to understand women a little bit better, which is still an impossible feat in life to fully understand, because I mean we both see things differently, through the eyes of a man and through the eyes of a woman. Certain things we do, you guys won't ever get, and definitely vice versa.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So
and I think that's okay. I really, that's fair, and I have no problem with a man being a man and a woman being a woman.
Yeah. Do you feel like writing romance has helped your own relationship in any way?
One of the things about writing romance, at least for me, and I kind of think can talk for some other authors because it's things that we've chatted about before. We're writing fictional stories. We're writing sometimes about how we'd want things to happen. And like I said earlier, real life isn't necessarily that. You see someone, you fall in love, you have your little conflict, you resolve it, and then you have your happily ever after. Real life is appointments and bills and unexpected car repairs and not being in the mood and having date night planned and then somebody gets sick, and that's the kind of stuff you don't necessarily find in a romance novel, because nobody wants to read about real life. They want to read about the
juicy
Cinderella type
story. The juicy stuff of it.
Yeah. They get the day-to-day, the laundry and the dirty socks on the floor and all that kind of stuff. So, has it helped my relationship? In the sense that, I have that support from my husband and we can talk about my books and we can share what I'm doing. Yes, in that way it has. But as far as, the rest of it, my books are fiction. Today's
social media age that we live in, where it seems like everybody's always on their phones and just distracted. Do you think long-term marriages are still possible in such an environment?
I think they're possible if the people want to put work into it, because that's what any relationship is. It does take work. I mean, when you first meet somebody and you first get together, it seems like it all comes easy. But again, it's those weeks and sometimes years of conflict that you might not really like the person you live very much, and you kind of have to just dig in and say, I know that being with this person is worth it. I know that it's worth the feeling miserable and not agreeing and not liking them and wanting to do something else. I know that in my heart, in the long run, this is worth it. So, is it possible? Yes, it is. But again, it really depends on how badly the people involved how badly they want it.
Looking back to like high school time frame, what was your personality like in high school? And I'll say, I guess a two-part to that question is, what did you want to be when you were growing up? And I would say, are you doing that now, being an author?
Well, my personality was definitely not what you're hearing now, because I kept to the background. I was kind of shy. I didn't like being up in front of people. Didn't really like the unknown, wasn't big into taking chances, so I am definitely a different person now than I was back then. As far as what I wanted to be when I grew up was mom, so no, that part didn't pan out for me. And I mean, that's a true thing. I did not want a career. I wanted to be a mother. And again, that didn't work out, but my life's been good, so I have no complaints.
getting to your book, Tempted. Like I said, me and my buddy were as we were sitting at the bar yesterday. Drinking a few brews, and pretty much coming up with material for today's interview. I was like, we were doing some reading, and I wanted to know, how did you feel about the protagonist in your book dealing with her husband who doesn't recognize her value anymore? So I wanted to know what was your, I would say inspiration, but where did you come up with like such ideas?
I just started thinking about, for me, that story is more about the consequences of the choices we make than it is about being unfaithful. In the book, Jane is been married for close to 30 years, and as you said, her husband doesn't pay any attention to her, and just really, she thinks that the flame has gone out, and she has this opportunity. This man, this complete stranger, shows interest and propositions her, and she has to decide whether or not she's going to take him up on it. And the story is about what happens and the damage that can be done based on her choices. And I think a lot of times we make choices based on how we feel in the moment. I'm talking in real life now. We'll make a choice based on how it feels in the moment and not think about what can be lost, what those consequences are, what will change. And that's the story I wanted to write. It wasn't so much about her infidelity. It was more about what happens to her life and kind of, was it worth it?
I see these type of things happen like all the time, whether it's movies or even in real life. My experience with women throughout my short 33 years on this on this earth, I've seen such things happen, or even just my own relationships too, where the individual is not willing to put forth such effort, and you love this individual, and then of course it's almost like, I guess it's like running a business and working for a company. And if you don't feel appreciated by your boss, you tend to look elsewhere. And it's not, I'm not saying it's right. Now, as far as relationships go, I mean, your job is one thing, but your relationship is a whole nother thing, because you want to be clear about what you feel and about what makes you happy. And ultimately, your happiness should come from within. I feel like that, and anybody that comes along should really just contribute to your happiness, but ultimately your happiness shouldn't rely on just one person, or anything else besides yourself. It's not excusing anyone's actions. That you having that person that's there, that just so happens to be there because that other individual is either working or something like that, and they know they're basically getting like a cheat sheet as far as like what really makes you tick, what you don't like from that your partner's doing, and what you do like. You put those things together, and you can run away with that individual because you feel like that individual listens to you and the other one doesn't. But I mean, if you're really working on something, you have to, I guess say you have to like keep in mind, you don't have to be so selfish in a sense. I'm looking at the storyline as far as what your protagonist had in the book Tempted, as far as like how she's seen that. I see that countless times, and it's just a matter of, I would say, paying attention and making folks the priority. Yes, you can work hard and make your significant other the priority. So I just, that's just something I picked up just from reading that, which we'll have to get more into reading that particular book, Tempted. It seems very, very interesting. Just what the character is faced with, and the challenges that you go through, because everyone is faced with temptation. So it'd be interesting just to learn how that ends for her.
And then it comes back to, again, how invested you are in the relationship that you're in.
Yes.
Because if you're willing to deal with the not so fun stuff and being ignored and feeling unappreciated and all of that to get to a better end, it truly is each person's decision whether or not they're going to stay or go or cheat or whatever. I'm not going to say whether it's right or wrong, because each person has to make that decision in that moment, what they feel is right for them. I mean, I personally don't think cheating is a good thing. Just put that out there. But,
yeah.
I'm not gonna judge somebody who does it, because I'm not in their shoes. I'm not in a relationship. I don't know what they go through. But again, it all comes back to the consequences, because you might end up with those people who will judge you or don't understand, or you end up destitute on the street. So
yeah,
it's a choice.
Yeah. So staying on the subject of let's say like relationships, how do you keep the fire in a healthy relationship?
Respect, I think, first and foremost. You have to respect the person that you're sharing your life with. It doesn't necessarily mean that you agree with all their decisions or like all of their habits or anything like that, but you have to respect them and be willing to compromise, and that, to me, is what keeps passion alive. And it doesn't necessarily have to be sexual passion. It's passion for each other, for wanting this person to be in your life, because they make you a better person because they're in your life.
So have you ever been in a toxic relationship, or recognizing it being toxic? Yes. Okay. So
actually didn't date much before I met my husband, and like I said, we're going on 28 years together. So
right.
He's the lucky one.
You don't really recognize that it's toxic until, I don't know, something dawns on you, something clicks. Maybe somebody says something to you, or you see it in somebody else, and you're just like, wow, this is what I'm involved in right now. And it's like, well, how do you fix this? How do you fix being in a toxic relationship? Well, there is no way to fix it. The only thing you can do really is exit. You have to exit, because you're clearly not valued. So you have to leave. You have to leave that relationship and allow that individual to see their issues, their flaws in themselves, and even like flaws that you may even have in your own self that could have contributed to being toxic. Because it's not always just one way. It can be like a lot of things that you dealt with from childhood that you didn't even know about, really. And you do these things, and then you see the outcome. When you have like the same outcome, like you go and you get in these like multiple relationships, and they all turn out the same way, or you keep getting the same type of personality, you have to look in the mirror. When it becomes a pattern, that's when you have to look in the mirror. That's just my mindset for that.
Right.
So
no, there's truth to that, definitely.
And in your own relationship, so how did you know that your husband was the one for you? I know you had mentioned earlier you knew he was the one, like almost like the moment you met him, but how did you know that your husband was the one for you?
It sounds simple, but we just connected. I mean, we like I said, I was on a blind date. The girl I was friends with wanted to fix me up with her brother. So she invited me over for a barbecue at her house. Her brother was there, and then his best friend, who's my husband. And I kind of just knew when I saw him, I was like, well, he's kind of cute. And her brother was very nice. I liked him, nothing against him. There was just no connection there. And that night, the four of us went out to a club, and my husband and I, we just started talking, and it was like an hour later, and it kind of occurred to me that I didn't know where my date was. And to give him credit, he had saw that my husband and I were hitting it off, and he just kind of left us alone, and he was over having a good time, and with a bunch of other people, and we've been inseparable ever since.
That's a beautiful story. That's a beautiful story. You actually might have to turn that into a movie. Pitch that to the Hollywood agent that gives you the call, right?
That's right. Yeah, I might. It just, I don't know. Whether it was, love at first sight, or like I said, just that connection. We belong together. And it hasn't always been, a romance novel. It hasn't always been a fairy tale. We've gone through, many years of bad times and struggles, and just like everybody else out there, but he's the one I'm meant to be with. And not giving him up anytime soon, that's for sure.
That's beautiful. You should definitely cue in the Pat Benatar "We Belong" right now. That would just be so fitting for the story, right? So Valentine's Day just passed. So let me ask you, as far as how do you feel about like Valentine's Day, and like, does your husband have to get you something extravagant for Valentine's Day to show how much he loves you? Or is that the type, I would guess, the love language as they coined the phrase? That have to happen for you? Would you need that to happen?
No, that doesn't happen here. we honestly don't really recognize Valentine's Day. He shows me he loves me every day.
Like so it's supposed to be done.
I don't need any grand gestures or anything like that.
Right. And that's I don't know. Maybe some of us today just feel like social media is like their time to be like a star. So to give a reason to send like a picture of like flowers, or like a tremendous bouquet of flowers, or I don't know. So being an author, I'm going to ask you, what is your top 5 favorite books that you've read in your life?
Oh, see, there's no way I can narrow it down to 5. I can do kind of like authors, maybe.
Yeah. Okay. That'll work.
I grew up reading the James Herriot books, the All Creatures Great and Small, about his adventures being a veterinarian. I absolutely love those books to this day. I love those books. When I really just want to have an enjoyable read, I will sit down and read those books. So he would be an all-time favorite. I love Sandra Brown. Just have read her books since the 80s. She is my romance hero, my romance heroine. I just love her. T.J. Tracy, who writes thrillers, love her. They're just like, I'm gonna leave people out, hurt the feelings.
Yeah.
There's just too many authors that I like. I read romance. I read horror. I love Dean Koontz. I still have my Nancy Drews on my shelf from when I was a kid, so I love those. I love to read. I've always loved to read. My earliest memories are of either my mother or my sister reading to me. So yeah, it's kind of no surprise that I reached a point in my life where I started writing, because there are just so many great stories out there, and I felt I needed to contribute a few more.
Definitely making your place in history with these Kristine classics. That's the second time I've coined that phrase. So we're gonna keep that. We're just gonna keep that thing going.
To the USA Today bestsellers list.
Definitely. Hashtag Kristine Classics is what will be done for this. For this. So.
Hey, works for me.
Yeah. So being you're in romance, what are your top 5? I would say romance movies, whether it's romance drama, romance comedies. What's your top 5?
Yeah. Okay. This is a little bit easier. I love Karina, Indian Summer, Band in Real Life. Let's see, Chocolat, another, Because I Said So, the Jane Austen Book Club. I know there's more than 5 now, because I could just keep going. While You Were Sleeping is one of my all-time favorites.
Okay.
So, I like those kind of movies.
I'm trying to think of that movie that I saw with the guy who plays Cyclops. It goes back and forth between like them being old and them being young. Yeah, James Marsden was in the movie. It was The Best of Me. That's it. The Best of Me. Had you seen that movie before?
I haven't seen that. No, I sure haven't.
Wow. Yeah. Highly recommended.
One I need to add to my list.
Highly recommended. Highly recommended movie. The Best of Me. I really enjoyed it. I mean, if you like The Notebook's little brother or little sister, however you view it was good. It was really good. I mean, The Notebook, I watched it only because of like the hype I'd heard about it. It's almost like the only reason I watched Game of Thrones. Yeah, so same thing.
I haven't seen The Notebook either.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah. So I mean these. Yeah, they're nice. It really does draw like the viewer in. It's a definite tear jerker. I would say for women, and maybe some guys too. That are not too proud to cry. I mean, because they really pull you into the character, and that's really what you want to do with. I'm sure you do with your books. You pull them in, you have them like. You really know this individual, like for that however long it takes for you to read the book. These are These are characters you get to know, and you wonder what's like next for them, like in the next series.
Yes, with any story, that's what you want to do. Is you want to, whether it's a movie or TV show, or book, anything, you want to pull that person into the world you created.
Yeah. Let's just say a Hollywood agent calls you, a Hollywood producer wants to use one of your books for a movie. Who do you envision? Let's just say for Tempted. Who do you envision playing the actress in your movie for Tempted?
See, my go-to is Julia Roberts. I just absolutely love her. I think she can play any role, and Julia, if you're listening, give me a call.
Yeah, I just watched her in Mother's Day. I watched Mother's Day. Yeah, Mother's Day was good. I like Mother's Day. That was pretty cool. It's like, I think that was that might have been the last Penny Marshall film. God rest her soul. Penny Marshall was awesome as a movie director, in my opinion. Like watching watching Mother's Day, just showing like the different type of mothers, like even like it has like the hot stepmom, and then having the actual mom that's like a little bit, in the hot stepmom, she's like 20 years younger, and she's with like Jennifer Aniston's. She's with Jennifer Aniston's character's husband, and they have like 2 kids, and it's like having to deal with this woman that's 20, that's clearly like a baby, it's basically a baby in her eyes, and she's with her ex-husband and her kids. So it's like they key in on that. Then you have like the lesbian relationship, who they're not quite ready to open up to their parents because they're a little bit old fashioned, and they wouldn't be able to accept it with so much welcome. The Julia Roberts character is a talk show host, not even talk show host. She has like a jewelry line, kind of like, what is it, QVC or something. And So she has QVC lineup of jewelry, and like she learns that, she doesn't really, I mean, she knew, but one of the other characters in the movie is trying to find her mother, and I don't want to give the movie away, but you definitely should check it out. I think everybody should definitely check out the movie Mother's Day. It was pretty good. It's a chick flick for sure, but it has a good storyline.
So add it to my list.
Yeah. So you have the Notebook, you have The Best of Me, and you have Mother's Day. Being you're a Julia Roberts fan, you definitely want Mother's Day on there. I think she, like you said, she can pull anything off. She has a show on Amazon right now, Homecoming. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet, but yeah, she has that.
I haven't either, but that's on my list too.
Yeah.
So, yep.
So also, I mean, you also run a podcast, wordplay. So what is the hardest part about running a podcast for you?
Balancing time between working on the podcast and writing. I started the podcast kind of spur of the moment at the end of last year as a way to help promote authors and give them an opportunity to just, kind of talk about what interests them. And it's just blown up in a really good way, but it's just amazing. So many fantastic authors out there, and they want to be on the show, and I'm just absolutely, and that part of it, the actual, talking with them is great, but then it's the work that comes afterwards that I kind of didn't anticipate, like the editing and producing the show and all of that. And so it's finding the balance between getting that done and then having time to write. So that's it for me right now, and I'm still trying to find that balance because I have several books I want to get out this year, and haven't really had time to work on them yet.
I see. And what genre would you be releasing in these books that are coming out?
Well, I'm working on a cozy mystery right now, so I took a complete turnaround from romance to do something different. Although there is kind of a little romantic aspect to this book, and then I have another historical Western romance that I want to write, and then I'm going to be starting on a contemporary romance series. So I do think, aside from cozy mystery, I do think romance is, in some form, is going to be my go-to genre. Okay. I mean, what's better than two people falling in love,
Yeah, there's nothing like that. I mean, we would hope to find that in today's society, but we're too busy on our phone. But I digress. I might have asked this already. I don't think I did. No, your parents. How did your parents feel, or your folks feel about the novel?
Well, my dad passed away before I became an author, so
Oh, wow.
he never got a chance to see me do this.
Okay.
But my mom is really supportive. She loves my book. She tells everybody she knows about her book, although I did warn her not to be tempted because it is a little, pushing the limits there a little bit, and she didn't listen to me, and she read it anyway, and then I got an earful.
Yeah, it's like, for me, I'm like, if anybody listens to my podcast, 2 Cents, or even like The Locker Room, I'm quite vulgar. So like a lot of times, and it's definitely is, I would say, helping me being very professional by not using it with so much, I'll say, cursing. So like for my mother, who is a devout Christian, to hear my mom, I mean, she knows she married my dad. He's a sailor. So it's one of those things where you this is your fault. You gotta kind of accept this. So I can definitely imagine like what it's like having your mom read your novels and be like, wow, okay, that's erotic, and like, this is my daughter. And
Right.
we have to remember that our kids they're human too. They're human too, and they definitely are faced with life the same way that we are. Me personally, like, I have a 14-year-old, and I don't doubt, like, I know the person I was at her age and the mouth that I had, so I wouldn't even doubt, like, she may never admit to me or even tell me, but I know for sure that my daughter's has a foul mouth. She might do it amongst her friends, but that's just, I'm a realist when it comes to that.
But that comes back to respect, though. You can act a certain way with a group of people, but then you respect those who don't want to hear the language.
Definitely.
Or the subjects you're talking about, or whatever.
Right. Before we close out, and it's been a great, really great interview. I really appreciate you being on the show, Kristine. It's been awesome.
Thanks for having me.
Or Chris, as I call her. I'm the only one that calls her Chris. Let's say, do you still believe in fairy tale endings as far as romance goes, or is that just like a thing of something we can read about? But you feel like in real life, there's I would say, a fairy tale ending.
I think anybody who has found love and can sustain it and is with the person that if they have a love that I think anybody who has found love and can sustain it and get through all of the daily struggles and all of that, to me, that is a fairy tale ending.
Okay.
I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be, Cinderella all the time. But yeah, I think anybody who's lucky enough to find that person who respects them and believes in them, and they respect and believe in the person they're with, that is a fairy tale ending.
And I think that I would agree. I would agree with you. I'd say, like, for me and my stance on fairy tale endings, I unfortunately, in my life, the way it's been, everything I love, or every woman I love, I lose type thing. It's been at least so far. That's what it's been. And whether that's them leaving me or me leaving them, but yeah, it's just been that case, and it's just one of those things where you just have to try to figure it out. I'm not gonna say I don't believe that fairy tale endings can happen, even from a guy's perspective, because yeah. I think at the end of the day, we all want that sense of security in a person that we would spend our lives with, and it's like being able to trust someone, being able to communicate, being able to to have good times with, to have bad times with, and it's out there. I know for sure it's it's out there. It may take some work, but yeah, I firmly believe I believe it's out there for those that do want to do that. Because I say, like, my brother, my brother thinks outside the box. I love him very, very dearly. He has such a brilliant mind for someone so young, and it can be a little bit I'd say strange at times for some, but he has this concept now that you don't really have to be with anyone. You know what I mean? Like, you can be happy alone. You can be happy alone. But I mean,
yeah, I believe in that too. I really do. I think it all depends on the person and what they're looking for in life. And And as far as your situation goes, I think you just haven't found the person who deserves you yet.
Wow. Yeah. Well, time will tell. time will definitely tell that. So who is your Hollywood crush?
Jason Statham.
Ah.
My husband knows that. My husband knows that if Jason comes knocking, that's our deal breaker.
I see. So do you actually like Jason Statham's movies?
Oh yeah.
Do you like it because they're actually good movies, or you like him because of how he looks?
Because he's really nice to look at.
Okay, that's what I thought.
I do enjoy the movies too, but it helps that he's really nice to look at.
I walked me, my podcast family, we lived together when I was in the Air Force. Me, Jeff, and Ebony. Jeff was he's a big Jason Statham's fan of like the Transporter. We went to go see the Transporter 3 in theaters, and we sat there for like an hour, and we walked out. Yeah, Jason Statham is. I like him in the Fast and the Furious series. I will say that the bank job was good too. The bank job was good. I liked the bank job. I really did like the bank job. That was a really good movie.
The first Transporter was really good.
I have to go back and watch it, but Transporter 3 definitely was like, what's going on here? What's your husband's Hollywood crush, celebrity crush rather?
I don't know. He's never really said.
Smart man.
Yeah.
So where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Well, hopefully still doing what I'm doing. I want, a lot of more books under my belt, and I'd really like to be on a bestseller list. We'll see if that happens.
Okay.
New York Times, USA Today, Wall Street Journal, any of them, all of them would be really nice. But even if that doesn't happen, I just want to be putting quality stories out there and hope that people are reading them and enjoying them, and hopefully the podcast will still be going good too. And yeah, life is good. Life is good in Kristine Raymond's world. So.
Definitely, the law of attraction is real. So if we speak about it, these things, God in the I believe God in the universe will provide opportunities for us to handle that. To take these opportunities and make the most of it. So I definitely see that bestseller. Definitely Kristine Raymond. And I'll be fortunate enough to say that I had her on my podcast. Just like when you're out there with all the other great authors sitting down there having conversation, I can say that yes, I had selling author on my show. I'm really thankful, appreciate you being on the show. So where can readers and listeners find you?
The easiest way is to go to my website, which is www.KristineRaymond.com, and that is Kristine with a K. From there, you can find my books. I have a tab that says Wordplay, so you can listen to the podcasts that have already aired. Yeah, find out there's an About Me page. You can listen to other interviews I've done. You can find out where I'm going to be as far as if I'm going to be signing anywhere. And, pretty much everything's there. My books are available on all platforms, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, iTunes, Google Play. Tempted right now is Amazon exclusive, so you'll only be able to get it through Amazon for right now. That may change later on in the year, but the rest of them are pretty much out there everywhere. Awesome. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Books in Maine, BookBub. I'm out there. Yeah,
she's promoting all over the town. All over the internet. Well, that's really good. Yeah. Well, Chris, as I call you, I want to thank you so much for being on the show. It's really cool to speak with a romance author and just learning like some of the things that you go through being an author, period. And I definitely will be tuning in to the podcast Wordplay with Kristine Raymond, in hopes to have, like I was mentioning to you, I hope to have my cousin who has her book Broken Promises. Maybe she can be on your podcast someday. That would be awesome to see that happening. So anything for me, like before we close out, you have any question for me that you could, I would say ask?
Well, I just want to thank you so much for the opportunity to let me be on the show and chat with you. I really love this, and you're doing a great job. I can't wait to hear the show, and I'll check out some of your others. And thanks a lot. Keep doing what you're doing. All right.
Well, this is Romey-Mak, Kristine Raymond, and this is the Interview with Rome podcast.